Hi there. Welcome to the Saskatchewan Health Quality Council and the Saskatchewan Centre for Patient-Oriented Research instructional video that will walk you through the steps to create a new account on our Patient and Family Advisor database called Better Impact. So there's a few things that Better Impact is used for. One of them is keeping all of your information in one place. The Better Impact administrator can send out new PFA opportunities. You can update your contact information so that if you move, you can still receive your honoraria payments. It's used as a communication tool, so if you have outstanding hours that you need to log, the Better Impact administrator can send you an email and give you that reminder. It also allows HQC and SCPOR to streamline the administrative process for honoraria and make sure that those payments get to you in line. So if you're new to the Patient and Family Advisor process, specifically the honoraria process, this is how it happens. So on the researcher, HQC, and SCPOR side, an event is hosted and you have been invited as a PFA. Obviously, you go and attend the event. After the event, log your hours on the Better Impact database. Then on the researcher, HQC, or SCPOR side, a confirmation of logged hours form is submitted to the HQC Administrative Coordinator, and we recommend that this happens within 72 hours post-event or activity. What happens next is the HQC Administrative Coordinator will match the hours that you've logged on Better Impact to the corresponding confirmation of logged hours form that was submitted by the researcher, HQC, or SCPOR staff member. Once this paperwork is in place and your hours have been logged, this paperwork is then forwarded to the HQC accounting department for honoraria processing. And at this point, you can expect your honoraria payment to arrive at your home by mail within 2 to 4 weeks. Alternatively, if you forget to log your hours and the administrative coordinator only has a confirmation of logged hours form, you can expect to receive an email from the administrative coordinator requesting that you log your hours as soon as possible. Once you log your hours, they will be matched to that confirmation of logged hours form, and you will be receiving your honoraria payment once the accounting department has processed it. But before you can start receiving honoraria and logging your hours, you need to visit Better Impact and set yourself up with a new account. And here's the link. It's a little bit messy, but if you just write this down on a piece of paper, http://bttr.im/M5ZWV, type that into your web browser, it will take you to the application page. So here I am, I've got my web browser open. I'm using Chrome, but you can use Firefox or Windows Explorer if that's something that you're more comfortable with. I copied the link from my PowerPoint slide, and here it is right here. I'm going to hit enter. And the link that you wrote down and typed into your web browser should have taken you to a page that looks like this. So there's only 4 options here that you can get to in order to access links. And what I would like you to do if you're looking to set up a new account is this box right here where it says, I would like to volunteer. If you don't have a Better Impact account, what I would like you to do is click on Fill in an Application, this little box right here. What you'll do is you'll just create a username, you'll use a valid email address, then you'll have to verify that email address, and we'll go through those steps. Some tips to keep in mind with picking a username is pick something that you're likely to remember. A good rule of thumb is picking your first name, a middle initial, and your last name, or if your name is really long, a first initial, middle initial, and your last name, possibly even with a number or your age, would be helpful. Try to stay away from spaces. It's difficult to remember spaces in a username, and then you're stuck with a name that's really challenging to remember down the road if you're only going to be contributing PFA hours, say every other month or so. All right, so I've entered in my fictitious name, fictitious email address. Please enter in your correct username and your correct email address. This is just an example video. I'm going to click I agree with the organization's policies. You can view the policy here. If you choose to disagree with it, unfortunately, you won't be able to continue with your account creation. But for the purpose of this video, we'll agree and we'll save and continue. So here is the contact information form. You're going to see some flags beside certain fields. These fields are mandatory, and they're mandatory for certain reasons. Obviously, we need to know your first name. We use this database in order to send out honoraria, so it's very important that we have an up-to-date address for you in order to send out those payments. The other mandatory field is an email address, but you've already filled in an account form, so this is pre-populated for you. Once you fill all those in, you need to just click that you're not a robot, go through the little activity, and then save and continue. All right, so we are on page 2 of the application form for the Saskatchewan Health Quality Council and SCPOR. Under general interest, you can check one or both. You don't have to check either of them. It's not a mandatory field. You can just say if you're interested in patient-oriented research or quality improvement, it doesn't affect your application. The additional information, there are a couple of mandatory fields. Sorry, there's a few. There's more than a couple. The insurance waiver is one of them. You can read the insurance waiver here just by clicking the little eye. It expands to tell you a little bit more about what you're accepting. Same with the confidentiality agreement. You'll see those flags, so it means that these fields are mandatory. And then in the honoraria, this field here will ask you if you are eligible for honoraria, or if you are not eligible, or if that you are eligible and would like to have it paid directly to you. If you are eligible for an honoraria and you want it paid directly to you, you must provide us with the social insurance number. You can do it here. If you're not comfortable, then you can get in touch with the administrative coordinator and she can help you out and just take that number by phone. It's important to note that honoraria is considered a taxable benefit by the Canada Revenue Agency, and if you receive more than $500 in a given year for honoraria payments, you will be receiving a T4A at tax time from HQC. So you do not have to, but you can provide an emergency contact name and number. And the mandatory fields right here are gender and age range, your occupation. You can just type in retired if you're retired, or you can type in other if you're not comfortable with that. And then right here, we ask if you identify yourself as a person with a disability. You don't have to. We do ask that you answer this question, but you can select prefer not to answer if you're not comfortable. And under self-declaration, if you consider yourself to be an Indigenous person, you can select from this drop-down menu, and then we'll ask you a little bit more questions. These are also not mandatory. It's totally a personal choice. These other two fields, based on your experience with the healthcare system and which role do you best identify with, not mandatory. It's just personal interest if you'd like to answer them. And then underneath your interest in specifically becoming a patient and family advisor, this is where we ask for you just to provide a little bit more information. It doesn't need to be an essay, it just needs to be a short couple of sentences. Then we'll ask you which of the following areas of the healthcare system do you have experience with, and you can check as many as you want. You can also include some new ones if the area of interest is not indicated on there. And then we'll just ask if you would like to receive any of our newsletters by email. Once you've got that all done, you've answered the mandatory fields in the way that you prefer, click Submit Application. And there you have it. That's how you sign up for an account on Better Impact. You're now going to wait for your profile to be approved by the administrative coordinator. Once that's done, you'll be added to some activities, the ones that you have signed up to be a part of, and then you can start logging your hours as the events happen. Thanks so much.